Good morning. Welcome to Tuesdays with Tom. We may be having some technical issues this morning. We'll see if Tom can join us. Well, if not, I am Barbara Wallace Edwards. I'm a roundtable regular on Tuesdays with Tom, and hopefully Tom will be able to join us here shortly, and hopefully Michael will as well. For those of you joining us and don't know, today is Fat Tuesday. I am here in Mobile, Alabama, celebrating Mardi Gras. I have been here since midweek last week, and Mardi Gras started here in Mobile. Um, this is the original birthplace of Mardi Gras. Most people don't realize that. They think it was all initiated in New Orleans, Louisiana, but Mobile is actually the birthplace of Mardi Gras. So since arriving here in Mobile last week, I have been invited to tons of events. Had a chance to go to the Grand Marshal Ball on Friday evening, which was fabulous. They had the entertainment, the food, the fellowship. I got a chance to see people I had not seen in years, some since middle school and high school, and others who I had not seen probably since elementary school, and got a chance to meet some new people as well. So thanks to my dear friend Claudette Lee, I got a chance to enjoy the festivities of that evening. And it would happen to be my birthday as well. So I was really celebrating it. It was nice to have a couple of thousand people there at the Grand Marshal Ball that was able to celebrate with me for my birthday. And it was a very special birthday for me. I happened to turn 69 on last Friday. So great, great time. Since then, there's been day parties and family outings and tailgating and receptions and luncheons and brunches and parades, of course, which is the main activities of one of the main activities of Mardi Gras. So I will also, today's the last day. I'll get a chance to go out once again to attend one of the parades, at least one today, and then tomorrow it will all come to an end. Ash Wednesday arrived and Lent season begins. So hopefully everyone will have a chance to enjoy Lent. Tom is having some computer problems, so we hopefully he'll be able to join us shortly. And for those who don't know, sad news was announced earlier today. An icon in my eyes, and I hope in many of your eyes as well, Reverend Jesse Jackson passed away at the age of 84. He's been dealing with some health issues for quite some time now, and he passed away on yesterday. So I'm sorry, this morning. And we also lost another icon in the entertainment arena. Robert Duvall passed away. Mr. Duvall, I think, was 95 years old. And so we're losing quite a few of our very prominent icons in our world. Sean, I don't know if you can join us. Are you able to come in, Sean, and join us also for conversation?
Yep, I am here. Good morning,
Yeah,
Barbara.
good morning, Sean. Thank you so much.
How you? Oh, happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Good, good. So, were you allowed to get some beads? Were you out in the street dancing? Did you have on like one of those nice dresses and the hats? How was Mardi Gras treating you?
Mardi Gras was fun. It's been fabulous. Again, the ball that I went to Friday night was formal attire. So I got a chance to wear my formal long dress, and I didn't get a chance to get out in the streets. It was actually inside the convention center for that particular ball. But of course, all the other events have been mostly outside: the day parties, the brunches, the tailgating, the parades, and I've caught tons of bees, lots of moon pies. Um, they throw everything. Someone threw a TV,
A TV.
TV yesterday that I actually caught, but a young lady was standing next to me. She grabbed the other end of the box, and I thought, I'm about a mile away from where I parked. I'm not going to want to carry this TV back. So I just let her
Okay.
have it. But yeah, you'd be amazed. I mean, they throw everything in Mobile Mardi Gras. New
So
Orleans is
is there significance for a moon pie being thrown? Is
the
there a
moon
reason for that?
moon pie is just one of the things that Mobile Mardi Gras is known for, is
Okay.
throwing moon pies. So that's just one of the I guess one of the things that people recognize and actually attribute to Mardi Gras in Mobile.
Okay, so I have never participated in a Mardi Gras, and I'm actually disappointed in myself that I'm missing out on all this awesomeness. So I was definitely have to plan a trip to attend somebody's Mardi Gras.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I would suggest coming to Mobile. Of course, again, New Orleans is well known for Mardi Gras. And it's sort of spreading out to other cities as well, but
Mhm.
New Orleans is probably the most popular. But it's also, I consider it more dangerous. It's a lot more people there. They have a lot more visitors from out of town.
Mhm.
And Mobile is crowded. Don't get me wrong. It's a lot of people here as well, but it's safer and it's more of a family environment, I think. Again, you have
Uh,
families. Schools are closed for the
Right.
entire week, so all the kids are out there, um, and everybody's just out there having a really good time. So
Okay, so yeah, that is the one that we probably want to participate in because I'm pretty
yes,
sure Kai would love to hang out and get all the beads and see all the colors, and he loves dancing.
oh yes,
And
yeah.
he's
There's music everywhere. They
yes.
have bands are marching in the parades as well, so it's always a lot of fun.
Okay, great. Oh, I love that. I know, and he's been dancing the same since he was like 2. So it's always interesting to see that he dances the same now that he's 10. So that's super fun.
That is
Um,
fun.
yeah.
But
So
yeah, you have to bring
before-
Kai because I think he would really, really enjoy it.
I agree.
Hmm.
So before we move forward, we have an ad from Best Girl.
Okay.
All righty.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Right. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are
I
you?
had a little issue this morning with the computer, so it took me
That's
a minute to
okay.
get it straight, but I'm glad you guys took it and ran with it.
No
Thank
problem.
you. So let me start. It's Tuesday, February 17th, and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Tom. So, back when I was a young college scholarship athlete, a football player to be specific, I was requested by the Auburn Athletic Department, along with 3 of my teammates, to go over to the campus infirmary and be tested for sickle cell disease. It seems a young athlete had died at one of the Midwestern schools, and it was discovered that he had sickle cell, a disease that mainly affects people of color, mainly black people. What is it? Well, I'm not an expert. We got one that's going to come on and talk to us about it. But Safari describes sickle cell disease as a group of inherited red blood cell disorders characterized by abnormal hemoglobin, which causes red blood cells to become hard, sticky, and shaped like a crescent or shaped like a sickle. Now, these rigid cells struggle to move through small blood vessels, leading to a blocked blood flow, which causes intense pain, infections, and organ damage. On that day, back in 1974, 5 days before we were to open the season, I was diagnosed with sickle cell disease. The athletic department went crazy. However, luckily, it was a mistake. I do not have sickle cell disease, but I do carry the sickle cell trait. My family was tested back then as well, and it was determined that me and my dad carried the trait, but neither my mom nor my sisters did. So that was a long time ago. And today on TWT, we will get up to date information on sickle cell from our G List guest today, Allison Morris. the founder and CEO of We Reign Sickle Cell Corporation. We're looking forward to that. The purpose of this nonprofit is to increase awareness of sickle cell disease, provide a network for sickle cell clients, and to develop a system of transitional services. We will hear more about that today. Our G-list guest today is Miss Allison Morris. Allison is the founder of We Reign Sickle Cell, and she's here to talk to us today about sickle cell and so on and so forth. So let's go to the round table. Michael Walker is not with us today, and so it's just me and Barbara here and Sean. So, Barbara, what's happening in your world? You talked about it.
I talked about it a little bit. I am here in Mobile for Mardi Gras. So happy Fat Tuesday.
Oh, good.
Yes, good. It's been a wonderful visit. Again, I've gotten a chance to see a lot of friends and relatives that I haven't seen in quite a while, and ran into some former classmates and friends that I haven't seen since elementary school and high school. So it's really been fun times.
That's great.
Yes.
I saw some of my friends in New Orleans. They were at the Mardi Gras. I mean, I saw photos of them.
Right.
And yeah, it's interesting. I went to one when I was in college down in New Orleans.
I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to be down there, but we sneaked off and left and went down there. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and you see stuff that you gee whiz stuff, and then you see some stuff that you wish you hadn't seen.
I've been to New Orleans Mardi Gras once, and I vowed I would never go back again because it was a little bit too wild for me.
It was wild. It was the first time I'd ever seen somebody jonesing. You know?
Yeah.
I guess from heroin or whatever, but he was landing in Allen. I mean, he was just, it was horrible.
That's sad.
I felt bad for him. But for the most part, we had a good time, and we slept in the car one night.
College days. That's what you did back then.
This guy who was on the wrestling team, his mom set out a bunch of cots in the living room of their house for he and his friends, and somehow or another we found out about it, and we beat them to the cot.
So you only spent one night in the car.
Yeah. So we only had to stay one night in the car. You got it. So,
that's pretty good.
So as far as the round table goes, I saw where Jesse Jackson passed. Jesse was 84 years old.
Yes.
He ran for president twice and probably brought a lot of enthusiasm and energy to the race.
He opened the doors for a lot of people. I think he probably knew he didn't really have a chance of winning, but I think he opened some doors for others.
Oh, I agree.
Very significant that he did decide to run. I didn't realize he'd been suffering over a decade with his illness. He suffered from a neurodegenerative condition, and then he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. So it's my condolences to his family and friends that had to be.
Well, and he was one of the guys on the balcony when Dr. King was killed.
Yes, he was.
So he had an interesting, adventurous life, I guess you could say.
Yes, definitely.
And then Robert Duvall passed.
Yes,
one of the best actors ever.
Yes.
He's a master actor is what I called him. And he was in The Godfather, Apocalypse Now. He was in Lonesome Dove, and there'll never be a better performance than the performance he gave.
That's true.
Lonesome Dove. And I can still remember some of his lines, but I remember when he told those guys they were out there working, and he was sitting there just watching them, and they said, "Well, you don't do anything." He said, "No, you see, I ain't scared to be lazy." A great actor, man.
Yeah, he was one of those that brought his character to life, and
he did.
Yeah, he was great,
wonderful, and
yes,
I'm sure that I wish his family well, and
Right.
I know my friend Michael O got to work with him a time or two, and he was a special actor.
And I think he actually appeared in movies as late as 2022. I didn't realize that, but he was in a Netflix movie, 2022, that Pale Blue Eye. So I haven't seen that. I'm
Okay.
going to go back and watch that because
I
I will
didn't
be
see what was the
interested to
name
see
of it.
Pale Blue Eye.
No, I'll look for it as well.
Yes.
He was incredibly special.
Yes, he was.
You know, Apocalypse Now, Lonesome Dove, the Apostle, the Godfather. He was something.
Yes, he was.
So
He will be missed.
Michael's not with us this morning. This morning he's involved in another.
There he is.
Oh, there he is. We just
Good
talked
morning.
about it. That's just
Yeah, how y'all doing?
Doing
doing
good.
great.
How
How
are
you doing?
I'm doing okay. I had to finagle some things, and stuff. So
We knew you
I
could do it,
finally
though.
I was able to confiscate a room and stuff and lock the door so nobody else can come in here.
Tell us what's happening with you this morning.
Well, I'm down at the Georgia State Capitol speaking on behalf of a bill that we're trying to get passed. It's called ICRA, which is the Individual Care Health Reimbursement Arrangement. So we're trying to get this done in Georgia, but with a twist where we will get the legislators to give small businesses a $600 tax credit annually to go towards contributing to their employees so they can go out and get this coverage. And it's aimed at small businesses that are 50 and below that do not offer health coverage. So that's what we're trying to do. And when you think about it, $600 a year per employee, that's only $50 a month. Okay.
Right.
So you're not asking for a lot, but what we're trying to do is help try to chip away at the problem where we have people that do not have health care and it's underinsured. So I came
That's
down
great.
to testify in behalf of that.
Good
So
deal.
looks like we'll be here
Awesome.
all day because there's another meeting at 1:30. They want me to come back and testify at that one too. So there you go.
Good for you, man.
Good for you.
I'll take care of the people. That's
Yes.
We're
great.
trying.
That's great. Michael, we kind of skipped around because my computer wasn't cooperating this morning. So after you called me, my computer went dead. So Barbara, Sean joined in, and Barbara joined in. So Michael, you got some roundtable stuff you want to talk about this morning?
I do, absolutely. We're in the middle of the Olympics and stuff, and that's going on. And I've been getting into I like the Winter Olympics, watching people do something that I can't do or that I'm afraid to do anyway, like getting on skis and
Yes.
going through the air. But there's one young lady that her name is Eileen Gu, and she was born in San Francisco. So she's an American by birth.
Mhm.
Okay. Now she is skiing and representing her mother's country, which is China, and saying she's doing it to inspire all the little girls and stuff like that. And the media has made her a darling and a sensation, and they're praising her for such an admirable goal and what have you. But the other side of the story is she's representing China and getting paid. She's a multimillionaire, has made $22 million. And
Wow.
this year, I think they're paying her somewhere, I don't know, maybe about $4 or $5 million to come over to Italy and ski on behalf of China.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know
Now,
they got paid.
I didn't know that either.
Yes, especially a lot of those countries over there, because they want the medals and all of this type of stuff. And it helps shows their country is strong and all of it political, because they're trying to keep the people, supporting the people that's in leadership and stuff.
Right.
But this young lady, and it's another one too that has done that. She's not at this Olympics, but they are getting endorsements and all this other stuff to supplement their income. And like I said, she's worth $22 million.
So did she amass her wealth just from skiing and skiing from other countries?
Yeah,
Wow.
she's an Olympian. you know. And so in 2019, she switched. She had been skiing and representing the U.S.,
Mm-hmm.
but in 2019, she switched to represent her mom. Now, you know, I kind of feel a little way about this. Not the money that she's making or what have you, but a lot of the people internationally that we compete against in the Olympics, they train in the U.S. They
Mm-hmm.
get the swimmers do, and
Yes.
all of these other sports. They come to the U.S. and train, so they
Mm-hmm.
take advantage of our knowledge, our technology to become better athletes, and then they go back and compete against us, and then make a lot more money than our people make. Because very few companies here, or there are very few organizations here that will supplement our stars. As a matter of fact, you guys know the rapper Flavor Flav. He's
Yes.
over there, and they've been featuring him because he's been sponsoring some of the athletes for America.
Really
Yes, yes,
interesting.
good for him.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's great.
that
That's
is great.
Yeah,
we,
absolutely.
we also talked briefly about Jesse Jackson passing and
Yeah,
Robert Duvall passing.
yes,
Um, you and I were talking the other night, and I told you about the senator from South Carolina, and I couldn't remember which senator it was. It wasn't a black guy. It was Graham. Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham said, "Who gives a shit about Greenland anyway?" He said, we don't care about Greenland. We care about who owns it. And that isn't an exact quote, but that was pretty much close to what he said. I thought, oh man, he's stepping on somebody's toes here. I guess he got married and he grew a set, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, also his fellow Republican senator, the only black Republican senator in the U.S., Tim Scott, he also condemned Trump. And that's what I thought you were talking about, because I was really surprised. He came out and said, that is the most racist thing to ever come out of this White House, is what he said.
Yes.
Is that what he said? Oh, you talking about the monkey thing?
No. Yes.
Yeah, that was so stupid.
Yeah,
Very much so.
And he did it, but of course he put it on a
Staff member.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, but he said he knew about it, so he just didn't watch the whole video.
Member, isn't it? Barbara,
yeah,
staff member.
Yeah, they never named anybody. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Somebody asked, well, are they going to lose their job? Well, it went quiet. No. That's kind of like a internal national search.
Right. That's what I equated it to, Michael. Same thing.
That's too funny. Okay, Michael, you got anything else?
Yeah, I have one other thing that I want to share with you guys. And I just happened to come across this, and you remember this. You know how right now we're in really, really political turmoil. And you think about the Epstein files. And just today, somebody else stepped down. People in these high-powered organizations and companies that they're representing, they are stepping down because of their association and ties to Epstein.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Okay. Well, think about how this is probably going to change the course of our political landscape going forward. But in 1972, a little-known security guard, Frank Willis, an African-American who was in his 20s at the time, he was doing security at Watergate Hotel, and he caught the 5 men that were bugging the Democratic National Committee headquarters. Right. And all of this forced Nixon to resign. He was 24 years old in June of 72, and he made that discovery that would change the American political history and landscape.
That's right.
But he never got any compensation for it. He never got anything. He spent the rest of his time toiling around from one job to the other.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. And I remember the aftermath of that and how he I guess suffered may not be the right word, but he had
sort of blackballed him. Yeah, after all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, I kind of wonder sometimes, why is it when certain people discover something like this or do something like this that is a significant contribution, rather than being celebrated, receiving accolades, financial remuneration, they are blackballed. But then when other people do this, then they are held up as a hero and they want to build a statue for them.
Yeah. Well, we know why, Michael.
Well, tell me why.
It's pure racism. I mean, that's the only thing I can attribute it to.
Yeah, well, it just bothers me. And now you got the chief negotiator disinviting the only black governor in the country.
Oh, that was so silly.
Really,
But the
it's
governor,
childish.
the governor had a great response to it.
I loved it.
And that guy's incredibly sharp.
Yes, he
And,
is.
you know, he doesn't like anybody. He doesn't in particular care for black folks, but anybody who stands up for themselves and basically says he doesn't really care for them.
Right.
Especially any person of color, especially a woman of color. But that governor from Maryland, he's a sharp dude.
Yes,
man.
he is.
He's tough.
I love what Governor Brashear did. Who's the chair of the National Governors Association. He said if Trump disinvites Governor Moore, then he's not going to go to the meeting either. He said Trump is acting like a 12-year-old child who decides has a temper tantrum, decides who he's not going to invite to his birthday party. He said that's not what this is about. We're all adults here. We should all be adults. And he said, if he's going to disinvite some, he said, I will not go. As a chairperson, I refuse to attend the meeting.
Yeah.
That was very admirable of him.
I mean, it's funny. You make the distinction, Tom, and I agree with you on the people that he does not like.
Mm-hmm.
I find it that he tends to probably tolerate those people that above a certain hue or complexion because he's not intimidated by them.
Mm-hmm.
He knows that they are maybe not as smart as he is. But if you find one that has a particular skin coloration that's smart and intelligent, he has a real problem with it, And you talk to him about how Wes Moore responded to that. I agree. I loved it too.
Yes.
Then you think about how former President Barack Obama responded to it.
Yes.
And he talked about, the office of the presidency being above that. Talked about, decorum from a political standpoint and all of those things. And what kills him the most, when former President Obama walked into the All-Star game, he got a standing ovation. Everybody clapping for him.
Yes. I loved it.
All right. And all these people, they just feel, I don't know, they feel a connectivity to him and stuff.
Yes.
And then when Trump goes out and give a speech, he has to do this to people.
In between the boos.
And I watched that show last night on CNN. I saw a little bit of it, and they asked a question about something in terms of, I forget what it was, but it didn't have anything to do with money. It had to do with the country and where we were and so on and so forth. And the guy who gave the answer, all he talked about was how much money he was making. And so she said, well, look, this question wasn't about how much money you're making.
Right.
The question was about so on and so forth. And he kept coming back to his
Same
401 and so on and so forth. And I had a guy over here, a guy I played ball with. And, well, he was on the team. He didn't really play.
Yeah, he was your teammate, but he didn't play.
And all he was talking about was how much money he was making in his 401. And with all this stuff going on, I mean, hell, I like to make money too. We all do. I mean, that's, you're in business, I'm in business, so on and so forth. But there's more to life than that. And there's, when you got people in Minnesota being killed, simply because they're exercising their right to free speech or what have you. Money doesn't top that to me, for
That's
me.
right.
And I just think that putting their emphasis there is the wrong place to put the emphasis. And I'll tell you this, I feel like this Epstein thing ain't just gonna go away.
It's not.
Once they get into who did what, um, some people are gonna fall.
Yeah.
And
Even Michael's friend Margaret Taylor Greene is stepping up and saying, they need to release those files. There's a lot more in there that's not that hasn't been released, even though Bundy's saying she's released everything. That's not the case, and she's saying that there should be some people that has to pay for what they've done, and so she seems like she's turned over possibly a new leaf. I don't know. We'll see how long that lasts.
Let me share this with you. I know we need to move on. It's pretty funny. The guy, you remember Two Live Crew, the lead singer?
yeah,
Uncle
Yes.
Luke?
yeah,
He running
Yes.
for Congress down in Florida.
right,
Oh, really?
right.
Yeah, he running for Congress.
I saw that.
All right. And he got invited to a party at Mar-a-Lago back, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years ago with Eddie Murphy, him, and somebody else was there. And he was talking about, I can only talk about what I saw. I went there, I didn't see any women or anything like that, nothing going on. And so, I'm not gonna lie, because I would have left. Then they turned around and played an interview of him from back in the day when it happened. He was talking about all the women that were running around and all the young women and stuff and what was going on. So
Different story now, huh?
yeah, that's pretty funny.
It's funny.
I don't know. I just know that I know some people who were involved in
Yeah.
fooling around with young girls like that. And anything for them, and they certainly don't want anybody to know. That's nothing to be proud of.
Right. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, you guys got anything else? Let's go to our G list because we got to move on. Our G list guest today is the founder and CEO of Rearrange Sickle Cell Corporation. That's Allison Morris. The purpose of this nonprofit is to increase awareness of sickle cell disease, provide a network for sickle cell clients, and to develop a system of transitional services that will assist adolescents living with sickle cell disease through their transition to adulthood. So let's bring on Allison Morris, and we'll talk a little bit about sickle cell. Good morning, Miss Morris. How are you?
We can't hear you. You're on mute.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Allison.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. How are y'all?
Oh,
Doing well.
good.
Doing well.
Oh.
Good to see
You guys had a big event this weekend. Tell us about it.
We did. It was the Melodies of Love for Sickle Cell. So it's going to be our annual fundraiser, and my background is in music, as far as organizing and producing and just helping artists out doing the behind the scenes. So I used to do music management, things like that. So I wanted to merge the two and bring it together with a great cause. So we had dinner, we had music and live entertainment, and we had a karaoke competition during the day. So it was all day, just music. My daughter, she was all like, "I'm tired of music. I'm tired of." But it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, and we raised over $6,000. Thanks to you all contributing as well. From Best Girl, we appreciate the contribution, and it was a great event.
How'd you get involved in the whole sickle cell thing?
So my first memory of even being aware of sickle cell was my sister. Actually, she's my half sister. We share Same mother. We have a different father, but I knew that she had carried the trait or a trait, and that was all I knew. And I knew she was tired a lot. But other than that, I had no knowledge about sickle cell. Nobody in my family that I knew of other than her had the carried the trait or the disease for that matter. So I'm going around, life, just living life, and then we fast forward to my daughter's newborn screening. So I'm 30 years old, 31 years old when she was born, and I've got to received a letter. They had a newborn screening. They said she had sickle cell disease, HSC, which is, I'm like, what? I didn't even know there were different types of sickle cell disease, just different genotypes. I thought it was just one. So we had to make an appointment immediately. The health department informed us, and the hospital informed us, and we had to make an appointment with the hematologist. We had to go in, and I'm like, okay, hematologist is for blood disorder. So I'm reading all the information. We get to the appointment. They said, well, for the first 5 years of her life, she'll have to be on antibiotics, penicillin, to avoid risk of infection. Here's a book called Hope and Destiny. It was about this big. And, you know, just here you go. And by the way, you're going to have to come back, and she's going to have to do blood work. And, they tried to make it fun. She was born in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee. And so we used to go have it was like a breakfast luncheon type thing, all day event where they came and did their blood work for the kids. And so they tried to make it, enjoyable, but they had to get their blood drawn. They had to give us education on different things. So that was my introduction to sickle cell, um, dealing with my daughter. And she's 10 years old now. She's been in the hospital over 30 times, dealing with the complications of having the illness. So it's not really a disease, it's a disorder, because there's a group of disorders. And so that's one thing that we want to try to spread awareness about, is that it's not just sickle cell disease. There's different kinds, different types. They present themselves differently. Everyone has their own way of responding to what their blood is doing. But it definitely opened up like a rabbit hole of information, and it got overwhelming for a while. We had to do counseling and things like that, and I had to do something about it. I'm the type person where I'm a knowledge seeker. I'm like, okay, if I don't know, I need to find out. And so that's what birthed We Reign in 2023. So this is our February 14th, actually was our 3-year anniversary for the organization itself, but it came out of the need, the necessity of more support for our warriors and our caregivers. We call people dealing with sickle cell warriors, because they're constantly fighting, for their life.
How is your daughter today? How does she do?
Well, every day is a struggle, because the pain that they go through it comes from the regeneration of their red blood cells. So the average lifespan of a red blood cell for a typical person is 120 days. Okay, but for a person with sickle cell, it's about 20 days. So it's like their body is constantly working to get oxygen and bring oxygen to different parts of the body where it flows. So every day she's most likely in pain. She's just learned to deal with it, just like any other chronic illness. It's the pain that we experience is like, and then she has not gotten used to it, but she still pushes forward. So she's at school. She's doing great. We haven't been to the hospital since July of last year, which is like never before happened. But we're moving forward with life.
So I have the trait.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about the trait?
Yes, sir. So, Mr. Tom, I love you, but it is not the trait. It is a trait.
A trait. Okay, sorry.
No, that's why I'm here, because I want, especially those that are in our community, to know that there's different types of traits, and so that's where the C trait comes in. I carry the C trait. You carry the S trait, right? So they diagnose you with the S trait, which is the main one that causes a lot of problems. Because if the S trait If you carry the S trait and then you have a child with someone else that carries the S trait, that's
Right.
SS. They're recessive traits. So together they form the disease or the disorder. And so that's probably, the worst one. That's the one where, you have your hemoglobin is super low, blood transfusions come into play, a lot of different complications come in. I carry the C trait. So the C trait combined with the S trait, which is what my daughter has, they say it's a little bit milder, but milder to me, it still shows itself as 30 times in the hospital. So how mild is that? And, she's constantly having to, take, pain medication and Motrin and ibuprofen and things like that for pain, staying hydrated. But it still affects your body. Her kidneys and everything are being affected, inevitably. So
I'm so sorry you guys are having
Yes.
to deal with that and having to live through that. Barbara, you got comment or question for Ms. Morris?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Allison, I can only imagine how scary that was to receive that diagnosis for your daughter as a baby. Um, what was she having any symptoms at that time? Or they just did it through the blood work? They were able to find out through blood work.
correct. Yeah. Luckily, or, thank God that we found out during the newborn screening, and because that actually wasn't mandated. Uh, Federally, it was mandated in the 70s. That's why they started that huge initiative, Mr. Gossam, in the 70s, where they were doing testing for sickle cell trait. But they were only testing for S, right? So 2006 is when the last state came on board to mandate, newborn screening for trait. So you have all these people born up until that time period that may or may not know, and they still think now today, oh, I'm good. I don't carry the trait. Did they test you for all of them? Because you could be, you know, passing that on to your child unknowingly, which is what
Yeah.
happened with me. I never knew I had carried any trait. So as soon as I got that call, I called my mother. I called, my OBGYN. Why didn't anybody tell me that I carried the C trait? And they said, they looked at my blood work. Oh yeah, you have abnormal hemoglobin. It's like it's right here. I said,
Wow.
why didn't anybody talk to me about this? So that's one of the things Rain talks about, and we want to continue to push, and that was one of the objectives for the fundraiser, so we can get an hemoglobin electrophoresis machine that can go a little bit deeper, and it could tell you the percentage of what types of traits and the genetic testing that we need to get the counseling. Genetic counseling is needed so that you can know what you're passing on to your children and to their offspring. But so the C trait has the same, it can't present itself the same as the S.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know if I've ever been tested for it. Maybe I haven't. Again, like you, no one's ever told me if I have it or not. So I don't know. But in most times it appears that babies are diagnosed early and they know. But I've known of adults who don't learn of their diagnosis until the 30s and 40s. How is that possible? I mean, they started having some type of symptoms and then they go to the doctor. Now, my sister, who was diagnosed actually with lupus years ago, but initially she was diagnosed with sickle cell. This was in her mid-20s. And so, it's like.
And it's possible, it's very possible, Ms. Barbara, that she could have had both.
Oh, yes.
Because we found out, and I only found this out because I looked at her records and my daughter's records, that she carries the SC hemoglobin SC disease for sickle cell, and she carries the alpha thalassemia trait, which is some reason as to why her mildness is not as mild, because she's very susceptible to infection. If she gets a cold, like if she gets strep throat, we're in the hospital.
Oh my.
People are like, well, just take a couple of days off. If her fever goes above a 101, we have to go to the hospital immediately because it could turn into something else. Last March, she had acute chest syndrome for the first time. She's had pneumonia multiple times, but acute chest syndrome is basically having a sickle cell crisis in your lungs. So the blood is clotting in the lung, and so it's the #1 killer of people with sickle cell because it's misdiagnosed. It's not that nobody knows how to deal with it unless they've dealt with it before. So we go into the hospital and they're like, "You're the expert." I'm like, "No, you're the expert."
Supposedly they are the experts.
So we're having a struggle here because I'm like, I've dealt with some things, but not all things. That's why I lean on our healthcare professionals. And
Yes.
speaking of the legislature and things going on in the government, we have 2 bills that we're supporting right now. Sickle Cell Day at the Capitol is on February 18, which is what, tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
And we're pushing for SB 844, which is for continuing education with our healthcare professionals. All we're asking for is for 2 hours of continued education on sickle cell. That's it.
Wow.
They need more, but we're asking for 2
Yes.
hours. Can you mandate that? Because there's too many people going into the hospital and they say, we don't, they're Googling information on how to deal with
These are the healthcare professionals that are having to go to Google. Wow.
and they're relying on you, which is a lot of pressure on a parent, especially if you don't have the resources and the the know-how. And so that's
Yes.
why We Reign was created, and that's why it's not going to stop here. I want to encourage other people in other cities, and they're doing that. I was influenced by other organizations and our partner organizations like Sickle Cell Medical Advocacy in Orlando. A shout out to Dr. Simone Uwan. She was very influential in training me. And so I'm now a sickle cell healthcare navigator. So I was advocating for someone yesterday that's in the hospital in Texas. We work with people nationally. So it doesn't start here and stop here. It's ongoing.
Okay. Anybody got anything else?
Sure. Allison, I wanted to ask you the question, but the first thing, though, I was going to ask you, how many traits are there for sickle cell? Because you mentioned the C and then the S. So
Yes.
are there other? Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes. So there's not a specific number. There's hundreds of variants, hundreds, but there's some that are common, which is the S trait, which is the main one that Mr. Tom carries, and then there's C, there's A, there's E. They're primarily in the Asian community. So I don't know if the Asian community is talking about it, but they need to talk about it too. I know and when we're having interracial marriages and things like that, we need to have those conversations because you could be bringing it into the blood, your genes. That's why the number is increasing and not going down.
So
Because we're not looking for it.
So if somebody's scheduled to get married today, they need to get checked beforehand.
Yes, sir. Fully checked. There's a lot of things that they don't check unless you specifically ask for it. And we know that they do that. And it's targeted towards certain groups. We know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Certain groups don't get the proper treatment. Mm-hmm. When we go to the health department, they always say family planning. What does that mean? Birth control. That means check us for STDs, but they don't check us for everything else. We've been working on that for a while.
Wow.
There's not just sexually transmitted diseases and birth control. There's other things that we should be, engaging with and checking. So those are the types of battles.
It's almost like they need to be required by law to do the testing for people before marriage.
It used to be that way, from what I understood. Okay. Before you got married back in the day, that's what I was told, but I don't know when it stopped and why it stopped. It may have been costly, but that should be part of the marriage license, I don't know.
Yeah. And to test make sure they're testing for the sickle cell traits, not just for, like you said, the STDs and other things, right?
Yeah. We got some things coming. I don't want to speak on it too soon, but we've got some partnerships blossoming, some programs coming up to check for rare diseases in general, so that it'll extend past, just for us. It'll be something that everybody will have buy-in. Could have buy-in.
I wanted to ask a question.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Tom. Is it one ethnicity that sickle cell is more prevalent in than others, or is it just maybe undetected in one ethnicity?
That's a good question. And that's a very safe way to say that yes, it's more prevalent in African Americans. However, again, with the mixing of races now, more and more, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But yes, there it's more prevalent in African Americans. It's right behind us is the Hispanic community. We have a lot of Hispanics that carry uh, sickle cell disease and don't know it or don't understand what's happening. I know a gentleman, he's Dominican. His mother, even though raising him and him his whole life, he's 36 years old now, but having blood transfusions and things like that, his mother still, she takes him to the hospital, they treat him, and that's it. But there was no real education, and he was the only one out of 10 kids. So it was kind of like, okay, he's the one that gets the treatment, the special treatment, but it's not special because you feel like a burden. I mean, there's a whole host of things. We have March the 7th. We're having a mental health lunch and learn and then in Fort Walton Beach at the Home 2 Suites, sponsored by Nova Nordisk, which is a pharmaceutical. So that'll be an interesting conversation if you follow our page, we'll have more information on that. But it's a lot. But yeah, it can be anywhere. It's genetic.
So, Allison, how do people find out more about your organization and how can they support it? Is their website?
Yes. So our website is www.wereignSCC.com. So that's WEREIGNSCC.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/WeReignSCC. If you Google We Reign, there's plenty of information. Wanted to shout out Get the Coast magazine. They did an article on us for this past event that we just had. And Okaloosa County Board of Commissioners made a declaration last September for Sickle Cell Awareness Month, which we appreciate Drew Palmer for initiating that declaration. So we're making some strides and bringing awareness and helping the families, which is where I came in. I mean, a lot of things came from it happening, affecting you, right? But we have to always also think about the other side and think about something that affects someone else that isn't affecting us, and how can we help? And it could be just by writing a check,
Right.
I'll just tell you that my episode, it was still, I guess, undiscovered, whatever word you want to use, but apparently a young athlete died at one of the universities in the Midwest, and it was discovered that he had sickle cell. And so there were 4 black guys on the team, and so we were the ones more than likely to have it, and so we had to go get tested. And the other 3 guys were all negative, and then mine was positive.
Oh man! And I can imagine how you, especially not knowing, yeah.
And what happened was, it wasn't a doctor; it was a young assistant, and he misdiagnosed me and said, well, I had the disease and that I shouldn't be playing football and I shouldn't be doing certain things and so on and so forth. And so I had to go over and our coach. I mean, I give them credit because they didn't know anything about it. I didn't know anything about it. And boy, they were all scared and nervous and it was the beginning of integration, so to speak, in college football. And it was like, well, God, we don't want him to die because we probably won't be able to recruit any more of them.
That's why their investment was, wait a minute.
Right.
But the hardest thing was telling my parents, and the coaches sent me to Birmingham and checked me into the hospital, and my parents came over, and it it was tough. It was tough for a minute there.
Definitely.
Until everything was figured out, and so it was an interesting episode.
Well, do you know where you got the other from? Was it your mom or dad?
My dad, my dad,
Okay.
my dad. Everybody was tested in the family, and my mom and my sisters were negative, but me and my dad were positive. And
Right.
so,
And Allison, to make sure I understand correctly, that you can have a trait. That means maybe one of your parents has the trait,
Mhm.
but in order to have the disease, you actually both parents have to have the trait, or one of them has to have the disease. Is that it?
It's almost like Russian roulette. There's a chance, there's a 1 in 4, depending on who has what, that is going to be passed on. So it's not just, if the parent has the disease versus the trait, there's a percentage, there's a change. But for someone that like the S and C, for me and my daughter's father,
Mm-hmm.
she ended up having the disease, but there was a chance if we had 4 children, she could have been the only one. I mean, there was a chance that she would have been the only one to have it, and everybody else would have not. So, you don't know until, the baby's there.
Right. Wow.
So that's why a lot of people are like, "Well, why don't you just stop having kids?" We can't. That's
Yeah. That doesn't make sense either.
yeah.
So we're pushing forward. There's cures down the pike. They said there's one now, but it's not for everyone. But we're making progress slowly but surely. This is the oldest molecular disease ever recorded. 1910 is when they knew about sickle cell,
Wow.
and we're still here.
Wow.
Mm.
Allison,
So,
thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much, man,
Yes.
Thank you for bringing me back.
for
This
what
has
you're
been very
doing.
important. Yes, sir.
We appreciate it, and you're welcome to come back again. I think
I will once we get that machine.
we'll
I'm gonna
continue
go ahead
to
and test all of you.
update
Yes.
everything and everybody, and um, I think it's some great information, and so we would love to continue to put it out there.
Yes,
For,
sir. Thank you. And I
because
just want to thank our
if you're
team,
like
our
me,
board. I'm so sorry. Go
no,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, if you're like me, you don't even know you got it. You just
Mhm.
I'm just running around here. I'm a football player, and
Right. You're like, I just want to play.
had no idea, no
Mhm.
idea at all. And you're young, and your priorities are probably in the wrong place. So all I was worried about was the first game was Saturday. Was I gonna be able to play in the game?
Right.
Right.
So anyway,
Did the assistant get fired? Is what I'm
yeah.
for misdiagnosing you,
Right.
taking you through that trauma.
Let's.
It was a mistake.
But thank you so much. We
Thank you so much
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
All righty.
And happy belated.
A bit out of order here because of the computer situation this morning, but Sean is going to do a Got a Minute for us, and she's actually going to do it live, I think. Sean, are you out there? Are you ready?
Oh, there we go. Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Well, good, because I'm coming to you live in full effect. And here's the truth: you do not need more time, you need clearer direction. We say we're overwhelmed because there's so much to do, but usually it's not the workload, it's the lack of decision. When everything feels important, nothing gets finished. When everything moves all at once, you move nowhere. Pause, pick one thing, not the easiest, not the loudest, the most aligned. Then give it your full attention for the next 30 minutes. Clarity creates momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence quiets the noise. You don't need more hours. You need one intentional move. And that's it. That's your minute. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
Thank you, Sean. Sean's going to be doing the Got a Minute live from this point forward, and we enjoy it. I think she does a great job. So, and that's our show for today. We kind of got things mixed up because of the computer situations, but we're good. And I just want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. Thank our G-List guest, Allison Morris. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl Inc. Thanks again to the TWT team of Barbara, Sean, Emily, Michael, and Joyce. And as always, a special thanks to the audience. And that's it for this February 17th in the year 2026. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Blessings and peace.